Federated Farmers say Fonterra's discovery of a toxin linked to botulism in batches of whey protein was a bit like finding a needle in a haystack. It says now's the time to give consumers the facts, not to ask who, what, when or how it happened. But some farmers are already asking those questions. Joining me now is Federated Farmers Chief Executive Conor English. Hello, Mr English. Thank you for joining us this morning. First of all, I'll get your reaction to the dairy trade auction result. That's come out overnight, down 2.4%. Is that, you know, an immediate response really to this?
Well, look, the price has been rising quite a lot actually over the year, which saw the increase in payout to farmers announced about a week ago. So coming back 2.5%, you know, it might have been going to come back 2.5% anyway. So I think that's at this stage reasonably muted. It'll be interesting to see what happens at the next auction.
Okay, what does the result mean for farmers though?
In terms of that auction, not a lot. I mean, the payout's been set for the next year, and it's a very high payout. So the season coming up is actually looking very good. What we hope, though, is that over subsequent auctions, that the prices do stay up, and we don't get impacted negatively.
Hasn't what we've seen happen with Fonterra, perhaps an example of how, you know, it's an all but monopoly, how monopolies don't work?
Look, I think. These things happen. You're dealing with a perishable product. Fonterra, well,
you know, we're talking about infant formula. We're talking about botulism.
That's right, and I think, you know, questions do need to be answered. We do need to go back and look at exactly what happened and what were the issues and what did cause this, and there will need to be some accountability on it. But Fonterra has been exporting for a long time, and all its product to date has been tip-top, and they've got an excellent...
It kind of needs to be tip-top forever, doesn't it? I mean, all of its product hasn't necessarily been tip-top because we've had 3 scares in 6 years. And certainly if I was importing formula, that would be, you know, 4 scares too many, you know? It's too many.
Absolutely. And
what price do you put on life?
It's,
you know?
Well, that's right. And I think that people in New Zealand perhaps don't understand the sensitivity there is to food safety, particularly in countries like China, because it does matter enormously. Because in some of those countries, you know, people have been adversely affected, and there has been...
Well, we've had the DCD scare and the melamine as well. And I think people are aware because we've seen our meat sitting on Chinese wharves over documentations and, you know, the Ministry of Primary Industries a screw up there. So I think they understand food safety, but the meat issue wasn't at risk of harming anybody. But
well, that was a documentation issue.
Sure.
And this year, you know, you've
that
got 30...
shows how sensitive the Chinese are.
Absolutely. And this is, you know, 38 tonnes out of 2.5 million tonnes. So I think there'll be questions around, you know, what actually happened, why was there some tainting, if you like. And then secondly, there'll be questions around how this whole issue's been handled by Fonterra. And I think
it's been handled pretty badly.
Well, I think the government actually could be congratulated for the effort that it's put in.
Well, it's had to step in really, hasn't it? I mean, this is such an important trade relationship.
Absolutely.
And it's had to step in to try and salvage some of it. Why has Fonterra been so vague? And we know that, you know, it's sent out its whey product everywhere to different brands, and is it the supermarket's responsibility to bring that off the shelves, or Fonterra's to announce it? Does it perhaps suggest that Fonterra needs to be tracking this product so much better than what it's done? Well,
what we know is that there's been a bit of a mess-up on this particular occasion, and what we know is that every other time it's been fine. So something's gone wrong somewhere, and we need to get to the bottom of it, and Fonterra and the government need to fix it.
What are dairy farmers saying to you right now?
Oh, look, they're concerned about it. Our reputation for producers of safe food is our point of differentiation globally, and that is why we are enjoying, you know, quite good prices at the moment. Anything that's negative towards that, and there is a lot of negativity towards this in China. There's a lot of news, and I've just been in China, and I don't think people in New Zealand perhaps understand how sensitive the Chinese are to this, you know, food quality issue.
When were you in China?
I was there about 10 days ago.
Right, okay. And so
it was before this.
Right, okay. So would you potentially like to see more competition here?
Well, we've got a bit of competition in the dairy industry with some smaller...
I mean, Fonterra's the giant, and you know, and very much it drives our economy, and you know, I think people have a quality of life because of our so-called white gold. Would it make sense, though, to provide more competition, and that rules out complacency? I'm not suggesting that's what Fonterra's been, but, you know, more competition would only be good for the industry, wouldn't it?
There's going to be a series of inquiries here, and, you know, there is going to have to be accountability. One of the responsibilities that Fonterra has to face up to is that it does hold the flag for our quality of our milk product, for 85% of it, and when it does get it wrong, it has to be accountable for that.
Need a change in the management structure, do you think?
Look, I think it's far too early to say. We don't know the ins and outs of it. We don't know the details.
But it's a possibility. responsibility if we do find out that there's been errors here, then perhaps heads should roll.
I think if there's people that think that the world's going to be the same at Fonterra going forward as it was for the last couple of years, I think they're dreaming.
All right. Conor English, Federated Farmers Chief Executive, thank you. China's state-run news agency